Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Bollocks. Isn't it bloody amazing that it's back? Yes, it's back. It's an episode of Talking Bollocks and I'm back. Welcome one, welcome all to the house that is Bollocks of Talking. That's right. It is the Talking Bollocks podcast with your host, Howard H. Smith, also host of The Motorcast, the official Motorhead podcast. More on that later. Also, I sing in UK thrash band Acid Rain. I also host the Reducer podcast, a football podcast with me mates, where we moan about football. Feel free to tune in to that one as well. It's called The Reducer. Might even put a link in there if you're lucky. I'm also a stand-up comedian. I do all sorts of little bits and pieces. But hey, here it is all about bollocks and the talking of. So, here we go. The news since last we spoke. There has been some interesting news. I'm going to rattle through this because it's quite a long one with my old mate Knox this week, which I'm sure you're going to enjoy. But anyway, here we go. Your first story is the announcement that Anthrax are officially returning to the recording studio to start the follow-up on on the last album, For All Kings, which I loved. I even have it on vinyl. They're back in there with Jay Rushton. Excuse me. And yeah, it's looking like we are... Well, let's face it, it's going to be over a year before we see that coming out. But Anthrax are firing again. They are recording again. Now, something new that's coming your way. Keep an eye out for Talking Slayer, a weekly podcast starting on May the 2nd, when I'm actually recording this, but it's not out yet, because obviously I'm in a different part of the world. But yes, to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the death of Jeff Hanneman, Slayer's co-lead guitarist, songwriter, most acclaimed lyricist, episode 1 describes how Hanneman influenced the band's career, art, and overall trajectory. And who is hosting Talking Slayer? Who do you fucking think? It's our mate, DX Ferris. That's right. Friend of the show, friend of Movie Bollocks, just friend in general. The wonderful, gravelly toned DX Ferris. So there's another podcast for your list. Hey, now, just think of all the podcasts you listen to. Do any of them recommend other podcasts? Actually, they probably do, don't they? I'm trying to get like some sort of, oh, I'm so cool, I'm helping you out. Not really. And you probably found it out. You're probably listening to it. You've got it lined up to listen to after this. Well, you know, if you have, good on you. And good on DX Ferris. I think I should get him on and ask him about all that and how it happened. And do you know what? I know you like it when I go off on a rant and I start moaning, but more good news. Surviving Soundgarden members and Chris Cornell's widow reach agreement regarding release of Singer's final recordings. In a statement released by both parties, right, I'm just going to get to the statement because that's the best bit of this whole thing, you know, because otherwise it's just padded out PR bollocks. But basically, earlier today, the following statement was released. Soundgarden and Vicky Cornell, on behalf of the estate of Chris Cornell, are happy to announce they have reached an amicable out-of-court resolution. The reconciliation marks a new partnership between the two parties, which will allow Soundgarden fans around the world to hear the final songs that the band and Chris were working on. The two parties are united and coming together to propel, honour and build upon Soundgarden's incredible legacy, as well as Chris's indelible mark on music history as one of the greatest songwriters and vocalists of all time. Isn't that just a heartwarming statement to hear? You know, bearing in mind, members of Kiss still bitching about, you know, leaving how many years ago? Members still in Kiss moaning about people who haven't been in the band for 20 years. And yet these guys have managed to get together with Vicky Cornell, figure it out. I just think it's great. I really do. Because you hear so often that these things will run and run and run, you know, and the divisions between the two parties get even wider. Nobody ever hears the music. Everybody loses. In this case, everybody wins. And I think it really is. It's just great. It's really cool. And Judas Priest back out on tour in March 2024 with, in tow, Nice to see Judas Priest giving young bands a chance to make a name for themselves. In support, it will be Saxon and Uriah Heep. It's not their job to give young bands a fucking hand up. They've done enough, okay? They're helping out their mates, and quite fucking rightly. That's what I'd do, that's for sure. Next up, ex-Metallica bassist Jason Newsted resurrects Newsted Project, announces first concert in nearly 10 years. Well, wouldn't you like to hear Jason being interviewed about that? And loads of other stuff by an interviewer that you know, and it be on a podcast that you could get hold of. Yep, that's right. A couple of days ago, I spent an hour on Zoom with Jason for the Motorcast, and that interview will be coming your way. So if you haven't listened to the Motorcast before, I suggest you fucking start, right? So get your ears around the next episode of the Motorcast when it comes out. Go and find it in your podcast players. Just put the Motorcast in. You'll bloody find it. It's the one where there's a picture of Motorhead. You'll see Snaggletooth. It's very easy to find. Okay? And it was kind of reading this that and friend of the show, who's you will know, Mark DeVito, actually made this happen. I was chatting with Mark, and after seeing this story, we were chatting on Instagram, and then it just came up, and I said, well, maybe now would be a good time, and it was a good time, and it's in the can, and you can go listen to that when it's released. Okay, so there you go. Woohoo! But anyway, the point being is that, it's on the 20th of May at the Revolution Live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That is where Jason's going to be making his first appearance for 10 years in the world of metal. There's all sorts of exciting stuff about it, and I don't want to give any of it away. I'm going to let Jason tell you on the next episode of the Motorcast. So there you go. Okay, that's right. Biggest interview I've ever done. Pretty sure of that. Next up, well, it's the statue of Brian Johnson unveiled in City where he played his first concert with AC/DC 43 years ago. It was unveiled today, that was April the 16th, in Namur, Belgium, to commemorate the first concert he ever played with the band on the 29th of June 1980 at the city's Palais des Expositions. Now, firstly, I don't know, it just looks a bit weird. It looks like it's grey, and I think it's painted slightly. The pictures aren't great, and there's only one picture of it, so I'm not going to start. Well, actually, there's a little video which I've clearly never got around to watching, and a packed video. And what can I say to the people of Belgium? Well done. Something worth commemorating. Bit of a pointless news story, and I don't know why I included it, actually. So there you go. Google image pictures of the statue. Looks a bit weird to me, but there you go. It's not as bad as the one of Cristiano Ronaldo. Put it that way. Next up, friend of the show, Kelly Schaefer, is on tour, and guess what? Cynic and Atheist announced Spring/Summer 2023 Focus and Presence North American tour. It's times like this you wished you lived in North America. Cynic and Atheist going at it together on the road. I just think that is absolutely fucking superb. Kelly, really pleased for you. Not that he's listening, but he says, this has been something that Paul and I have been talking about in some capacity since we were in our early 20s. It's surreal to share a 30-year milestone together, and this tour will showcase for us a chance to play some of the songs, our first 3 records, as a special trilogy anniversary set, including songs not performed live in decades. 2 titans of technical progressive metal coming together for a unicorn of a tour. One you'll not want to miss. Couldn't agree more. If you have any chance whatsoever to get to that, then boy, you need to get to it, don't you? So, smashed through the news there. Nothing really exciting, to be honest. Not that much going on. I have been listening to the new Metallica album, and it's growing on me. It's growing on me like a cyst. It's my appreciation seems to be swelling like an unwanted mound of dead skin under the skin. But there are definitely things to like about it. There are some highlights in there, and I can see why people are digging it. I'm still yet to be convinced by quite a few tracks. There's definitely some editing could have been done there. There's no way some of these songs should be as long as they are. But anyway, I don't want to go into too in depth too much on that, because that is something that I will probably be discussing with me old mate, Old Head, on a future episode of Old Bollocks, because I cannot see us getting through a whole episode where we don't talk about that. Really, really, really getting in to the new Overkill album, which, yes, that's right, I still struggle with the bloody name, right? It is. I know. I always want to say Sorcerer. It's Scorched, all right, and it's great. I'm loving it. Really, really, really loving it. Yeah, it's got to be my favourite Overkill album for years. It really has. Really, really enjoyed it. Obviously, massive shout out to Haken. Loving that. Absolutely, just a work of art. Anywho, that's what I'm listening to at the moment. Also, Venomous Concept, really cool album, and that's again thanks to Old Head and Old Bollocks for that one. So, this episode is with me old mate Knox Colby of Enforced. Last time we had a chat, it was at the Camden Underworld just before their performance there. So it's been a while since we've had a chat. They've just put an album out. They've been touring like absolute bastards. So we got together on Zoom late one night and just chewed the fat. And here is that fat chewing in full. Dude, how have you been?
Great.
Yeah.
Considering, yeah, like it's awesome. Like we said right before you started recording, busy fucking year, man. Already.
But that's so cool. Busy, being in a band, if you're busy, is cool. Not being busy is like the fucking worst.
Death. It's death.
Yes, it's death. Yeah, it is.
The death of a band is not being busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been great. I mean, when's the last time we talked? Like did one of these? It's been about a year.
It's been at least a year, because I think the last time we actually talked was in person when you played the Underworld.
Yeah.
And we've messaged a bit, but that's it.
Yeah, we just hung out with Blood Incantation last night.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was such a weird twist of fate. Yeah, talking to you, then we saw Blood Incantation. Like it. Yeah, and then I saw him last night. It's just like, man, this is all lining up.
That's
like
fucking
it's weird. It's uncanny.
It is uncanny. Yeah, it's unwelcome.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No, the fates are conspiring.
Yeah.
Because and how's your voice holding up? Because I know, when I saw you last, you were having a little bit of a struggle. I introduced you to Vocal Zone.
Yes, I got a couple people hooked on it. It hasn't since then. I don't know what was going on, but since then I haven't had one issue.
Wow.
I don't know if it was the climate or what, but it really fucked me over for like just that one day. And then
bizarre.
And then after that it was totally fine. I mean, I took so much Vocal Zone that I burned my tongue. Like
brilliant.
Because of that menthol and licorice just burned through my tongue. And I had all these little, like, not scars, but like small cuts all down my tongue just because I was taking so much of it.
Yeah, there's a reason why it says take it every like 3 to 4 hours, which you blatantly ignored.
Oh, I'm not reading that.
Yeah, I know.
I can't read. You're assuming a lot when...
Dude, it's cheating reading the instructions. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's cheat. Have I taken too much? Am I dead? No, then I haven't taken too much.
But then you're right. My liver probably hates me, which I know it does. But and so the rest of the time, my voice is fine, but I could barely eat anything. because my tongue was fucked.
Oh, I've been there.
In retrospect, hilarious. At the time, really annoying. But whatever.
Yeah,
it's all.
Well, the thing is as well, is like
fun.
Yeah, it is a test. But the thing is as well, when you're on the road, all you need is you need to be fed, watered, and you need rest. You need half decent sleep.
Yeah.
and get the food. And if you can't do one of those things, yeah, it's going to make you grumpy.
I mean, I wasn't grumpy, but I was just like, this is annoying. It's like, how? Okay, voice taken care of. Food, can't.
Yeah,
Because you fix your voice, you can't eat now. And it's like, well,
it's one or the other. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's the tour gods kicking your
hmm
ass.
that's just the way it is. It's fine. I'm happy to get my ass kicked by the tour gods.
Yeah, it's nice. It means you're on tour.
Yeah, it just means I'm living, baby.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. How was it recording the album as well? Because I know we've spoken in the past about, like, how you worked in the studio and everything else.
Yeah, way different. Like I just think like I've been doing. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I've been doing all the press junkets and stuff and interviews for the album, and everyone wants to know like what was the recording like, and like I'm trying to think back to it, and I was like, it was so fast. No, I don't think anyone really talked much about anything. Like
Right.
I think it was all just the kind of like a very subconscious, like we all know what we want to do. We all know what we have to do. So let's just get in, do it, and get the fuck out. Like
Yeah.
simple,
Yeah.
simple, really. Uh,
Yeah. None of
but
this.
like,
None of this going in with 30 songs. You know.
yeah, but it's a bad. It's also a bad answer. It's like a bad to a very
Yeah.
baseline question. It's a terrible answer. I'm just like, we just went in and did the damn thing. Like, yeah,
I,
that was it.
I know what you mean. Your interview sat there going, "Come on, you got to give me more than this."
No, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't, I
Yeah.
don't have anything for you. We went in, we did it in like a week, and we fucking left. Like,
But the
done.
thing, but do you know what? It's like it's really rare um that you get a second album that has all of the hallmarks of the first album, but is like clearly just that notch up, that like improvement.
Oh
Everybody's a little
yeah,
bit more comfortable in their
it's
shoes.
clearly like, yeah. I think we're all just more comfortable in our own skin. I think we're more comfortable as a band. I think we're more comfortable as a unit, a cohesive unit. I think we're all better at our instruments. I mean, me too.
Yeah,
Um, and just we just the album, from my perspective, feels like, oh, okay, they know exactly what they're doing. There's no, there's
yeah,
no need to mask things. There's no need to like hide behind soundscapes, or it's not. It's very sure of itself. It's very confident.
yeah,
Um, yeah, and it doesn't pull any punches because it's trying to whoop your ass. Like, but whereas like
yeah,
Killgrade was just, you could tell it's like, in my perspective again, like I could tell it's like, yeah, you sound scared. Like you don't want to like you don't want to go the extra mile like we did in War Remains to like really hit it home. Um, not saying that Kilgrid's bad. I mean, I fucking love the album. I have to play it, all the time. But it's a completely different feeling, and I'm
yeah.
far more excited about War Remains than I was with Kilgrave. Kilgrave was just a lot. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and this one I was just like, nah, man, that's just who I am. Like,
Well,
so it's a huge difference in perspective.
it's massive. It's absolutely massive, and I think that I completely understand where you're coming from, and also that kind of like, I don't remember, because everybody was just so focused on, well, we're just going to go in and record the new album. Anyone need any special instructions here? No, good. We're all going to go in, smash it. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Then
cool. Fuck it.
that's
Let's do it.
yeah. 'Cause in
Yeah.
fact, we've just gone like round the world twice. That recording the album, we can just nip into a studio and do this, no problem. This is just a day at the office
Yeah.
for us.
That's how it felt, because like we went into the studio maybe a day or two after finishing the tour with At the Gates of Municipal Waste. So we were all already like super tour tight, and I was all warmed up. We're all warmed up, ready to go. And so we had all these click tracks and like tempo maps and all this shit. And Alex was just like, I'm not doing that. That's
Brilliant.
so unnatural. It's so unnatural, and it's so awkward, and it's so hard for me to try and listen to the clicks while I'm also, blasting away. Like, just get rid of it. And we're like, okay. And there was no argument to be had. It was just like, all right.
Yeah.
He just did it, and he fucking killed it, and it's way faster than it was originally supposed to be. So it's like, good, that sounds better.
Brilliant.
I mean,
Brilliant.
there's hiccups and fuck ups, but like, it's a thrash album. Like, it's not meant to be perfect. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be like it. The the unpolishedness of it makes it perfect. The roughness of it makes it perfect.
Yeah.
You don't
And
have to. It doesn't have to be crispy.
do you know what as well? That the worst decision you could have made would have been come off the road and said, right, let's all have a couple of weeks off and then go in the studio. Like,
Exactly. Well, but we didn't even have that time. Like, because we had to go on tour with Undeath and 200 Stab Wounds. Like, we didn't have a month to just sit around and think about it. Nor
right.
would we have wanted to do that in the first place. So it's just like, all right, cool. Well, next tour is coming up. So, like, hey, why don't we just record the album in between? All right, cool. And just did it and just left and, and went on tour again.
And I
Like,
tell you what,
it, it works. I think it feels that way. It sounds live. I mean, it sounds like how we sound.
oh, it
Um,
does. It does very much so. And I tell you what, I'm really liking that title. Now, I don't know if it's just me, okay, and I don't know if I'm projecting here, but to
Probably.
me, yeah, probably. um, to me, it's a statement, and the statement is like, yeah, the battle that we started out on Kilgrid is still going. Like, our war remains. We are still,
Interesting.
like, we're still on the road, we're still going, and war is raging on. Here's like the second installment.
Huh. Never heard of that perspective. I didn't think it's not that was the intention, but
Yeah.
yeah, you're projecting hard.
Oh yeah, big time, man. Yeah.
But it's totally. But I think it's cool that like everybody comes at it with their own different. I hate to use the word baggage, but like with their own perspective
Oh yeah.
and unique perspectives that everyone has taken completely different things away from it in terms
Yeah.
of like what it means or like how like what they're trying to say and all this stuff. I think it's awesome because there's so many different answers to that.
Well, as a
And
lyric writer yourself, you get it, I get it.
yeah,
You get people coming up to you telling you what the song you wrote is about, and you're like, okay, that's fine.
nah,
Yeah, cool.
yeah, just like never thought of that one. Like that's
Yeah.
nuts. But
You're projecting
that's
pretty hard.
yeah. That's not what I meant, but it's cool that that's what you heard, like,
Yeah.
or that's what you read. It's just different. I think it's cool with it. Like, if you or I can write something that's can be taken and interpreted in 100 different ways,
Yeah.
that means that like you're probably pretty good at what you do.
Yeah,
uh, and
good
writing
sign.
instead of writing just like straightforward and like very bland lyrics, like you have like enough thought and creativity to kind of uh make people consider and wonder about things.
Yeah, and also I think, I don't know your approach to lyric writing, but for me, sometimes it's just getting shit out, isn't it? It's just
Mm.
writing stuff down. Sometimes it's better written down than being in your head, and it, ends up looking like lyrics. Then all the
Yeah,
better.
that's a like usually for me it takes like I mean from beginning to end it probably takes years, but like I'll just have like little scraps of notes here or there and kind of like slowly compile them all over time, over years and years, and not really use much of it. And then when it comes to like, okay, the album is demoed with no vocals, here's the tracks, write the lyrics. And I'm like, okay. And then I just have like just crazy scattered notes all over the place, like all over the porch. Um, and I'm trying to like assemble thoughts and ideas that I've had for, they could be like 5 years old. Um, and then just slowly try to make sense of what I was thinking and try to meld that into like one cohesive thought or like one cohesive piece to try and articulate some vast point that can't be so to summarize years of thoughts and research and lectures and stuff, and to sort of do it in 2 minutes. I'm just like, well, fuck. Like, I got to be really smart with what words I pick.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably won't know what most of them mean.
Yeah, and then but then there's other times like I was working on, I think it was either Starve or Empire, and I was just like, you know what? And I just scribbled down like two really short stanzas, and I was like, okay, glad that's out of my head, and kept going. And then I got to the song Ultraviolence to write, and I was like, that works perfectly. I don't know what it means. Yeah. I have no idea what it means, but it fits that song perfectly. Great. I got one done for free, pretty much. Like, I didn't have to think about it at all.
I am familiar with that feeling. Oh, I'm glad I left that lying around. I'm glad that fell out my head.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like, it felt like word vomit at the time, but like, it makes it's like it's something intangible. I can't you can't touch it. I don't really fully understand what it means, but I read it and I'm like, yeah, I totally get it, but I also don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I'm the one who wrote it, so I'm just like, whatever. I give up. I'll take it.
You know, ultimately, you know, you knew what it meant when you wrote it, but it's like that's my feeling. It's like I knew what I meant when I wrote it, but you go back to it and I think, okay, right, well, now I'm interpreting my own lyrics. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it was like, I read a lot of have you ever read Carl Jung's Red Book?
No.
Okay, well, it's long.
Oh joy!
It's a doozy,
right?
It's a doozy, but it goes through. It tries to understand like dream psychology and like stuff,
right.
and he basically goes down this wormhole of trying to understand or to make the intangible tangible. And I think he ended up almost losing his fucking mind about it. Well, so it's like, well, don't go down that path too far. But because I don't want to be schizophrenic, but there's something about ultraviolence that is very like, it just came to me and I just wrote it down really fast and I got it out of my head. But then I look back at it and it's like, it's almost dreamlike. It has all these paradoxes and opposites like intertwined and connected through everything. It's like almost like James Joyce. I'm like, God, like did I write something like incredible, or am I just an idiot? Like that had a really good dream. Like,
dude, you know the phrase. You know the phrase. Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Well, I was right one time. That's a really broken clock.
Yeah.
It moves whenever it wants to.
Fair enough.
But the whole process has been really fun, really challenging, I would say. But I get a lot of I get a lot of fun out of being like challenged, especially when like I'm putting that challenge on myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
To do something.
That is my absolute like motto. You know, challenge accepted. Because it's like, unless I'm being challenged, I feel like I'm like kicking my heels. What am I doing here?
Yeah, it kind of gets boring. Like just this year alone, what is it? I got fired on Halloween of last year, right before we went on tour, and I was like, "What the fuck am I gonna do?"
Was that the air conditioning place?
Just the homeowners associations that I was working for,
that
I have been for a long time. Yeah. And yeah, I was just like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do? I'm about to go on this tour. Like, I don't have a job, and the whole leading up to the tour, I was like, I have to figure this out, or I have to figure it out while I'm on tour. Got plenty of time. And then I was like, actually, you're gonna ruin your time on tour if you're just constantly worried about like, oh, fucking job, no. Like, just enjoy the tour. Like, your life will benefit from having a good time on having a positive experience on the road with all your friends and on Death and 200 Stab Wounds and making great friendships with Bobo Phil. Like, Like I would have lost that if I was just stuck in my head or stuck in the van worrying about or like trying to get a job. So I was like, okay, just worry about it when you get home. So I got home, and then it was like even worse. I was like, oh no, because I realized like I'm unhireable. Like,
yeah,
I'll be gone 4 months out of the year. I have X amount of experience, like over a decade of experience. So I need to be paid accordingly for like whatever job.
yeah,
Um, so you want to pay me like 30 an hour and I'm never going to be here?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
That's not an attractive
the
pitch.
answer is no.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
answer is no.
yeah.
No one wants to do that. They
And
all like,
to be honest, we're both sat here going, "Yeah, I'm not hiring that guy."
yeah, I
You
wouldn't
know?
do it either. I
Yeah,
wouldn't do it either.
yeah.
Uh, but so I was like, you know what? Like, challenge accepted. So I started my own company, and
Hey,
I do what I did. Home repair, apartment repair. Building
yeah.
fences, building decks, shit, whatever. Uh, Plumbing, electrical. Uh, and I'm not dead, so I'm not starving to death. Like I've got money rolling in, so it seems to be working.
Sometimes it takes your circumstances to force you into a position of doing
Yeah,
something
to
that you
push.
wouldn't have chosen to do, and go, "Oh
Never.
shit, this is where I was meant to be."
Yeah, our guitarist Will has been telling me to do this for years,
Oh,
and
he's
I just
he's loving this moment, isn't he?
no, oh, he loves it. He's just like
Yeah.
because I named the business after like pushing my first name and last name together, so it's called Keiko. I'm actually wearing a Keiko shirt right now.
Oh, you've got to
um,
sell those at the merch store, man.
Dude, people really want the fucking Keiko shirts, and I'm just like, I don't know why, like, but yeah, I might if I make enough scratch, I'll make a you know, big
Yeah,
merch, and I'll sell it through myself. But what is it? Yeah, so like that challenge super hard, and it's still hard. I mean, owning your own business and trying to make your own way is
yeah.
really fucking hard and
Hmm.
way more expensive than I thought it would be. So it's a struggle. And then on top of that, right when we got back from Europe, uh, I met a lovely woman, and now we've been dating for it'll be a year in July. I haven't really dated anybody since I was like 18. So
Right.
like coming at it from a 32-year-old lens of like dating, you're just like, oh god, like I don't want to do this, but like she's maybe a year or two older than me and has the same experience, so she's just as freaked out about it as I am. So we have our own, little insecurities and backs and forths, and
Yeah.
you know, trying to explain to her is like, okay, album cycle time is happening. Guess who you're not going to see for 5 months?
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah.
Um, I'll be at my house, but I'll be busy. And
Yeah.
she hates that. Understandable. It's like trying to balance, love and life and work. Like
Yes.
it for when it comes album cycle time, it's just like everything's weighted towards that. Period. I have no
Yeah.
time or patience for anything that's not that.
Yeah.
Um, and so this being her first time around the sun with an album cycle, she did it with grace. She did it beautifully. There was like a hiccup here or there, but once the album came out and she took me out to dinner as like a yay, it's over. Um, I was just like, thank you for not leaving, and thank you, thank you for like totally understanding. She's like, well, I didn't really understand until like today, like, so that's to be expected all the time. Or I was like, no, not all the time, just like when an album is done, and then like you can start the press cycles, do all the music videos, interviews. Like I just don't exist for like 3 4 months.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, well that sucks, but I mean I get it now. I understand. I was like, all right, cool. So as long as we're on the same page, great.
Yeah.
So if she can do that, if she can do that, and if I can do that, we can do anything. We can rule the world.
Yeah, it's like it. You know, I was just thinking. I was just when you were talking, I was thinking about the comparisons from a work point of view, and it's like for instance, when people are working all hours, God sends, if they work in retail and it's Christmas is
Right.
coming, but that's predictable and it's every year and it's the same time of year. And then I started thinking, no, actually, it's more like farming, where it's just like when the sun's out, you won't fucking see me, I'm busy. It's
Yeah.
that kind of like, it's like, oh, it's
Yeah,
been
but like
that amount of time.
6 months of the year, you don't really do shit as a farmer.
Yeah.
You're just kind of chilling.
Due respect to all
But
farmers.
then no, yeah, yes, respectable farm.
Yeah.
I love all farmers. I'm just saying, you plant the seeds, then you just kind of gotta wait.
Yeah.
So you're just chilling. You're just chilling for like 4 months. I probably got it way wrong, and
can hear the angry farmer communities.
I can hear he's right there. He's looking at me. He's my neighbor.
Yeah. But it is. You're basically just. It's like you said. You just disappear into a machine, and it's kind of weird as well. Ever visit the record company when you haven't got an album out? That's weird. People look at you like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've never been to the Century's headquarters, but
right.
I'm sure it's nice. I'm sure it's nice.
But it's like walking into a record company when you don't have an album out, when you're not on an album cycle or something like that, and it's just like,
yeah, yeah. Why are you even talking to me?
Exactly, but that's their experience of the album cycle. As in, when you don't see all your friends, your girlfriend, etc., what you do see is people from the label, people from management, people.
Oh my God, the spreadsheet. We got wise this time. Instead of doing the interviews like willy-nilly like we did for Kilgrid, we had a set spreadsheet.
Nice.
And I was like, you have to tell me when this is updated because I'm not going to constantly look at it. And so I'll get like email notifications, but there's 4 people editing it at all times. So everyone is just adding shit to it. Like all last month or it's May 1st, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So all last month, it was like, I would get like 15 notifications a day of like, oh, so-and-so updated the spreadsheet. This guy updated the spreadsheet. This guy updated the spreadsheet. You're like, God damn, like, stop updating the spreadsheet. Like, no, I'm gonna be buried under all these fucking interviews. But like, I love doing them. I can't like, I bitch about them so hard, but I do like it.
But
like,
do you get
like
notification rage
and
as
I like
well?
Talking. Yeah. Like my phone is just like I'm trying to take a walk with my girlfriend like in the middle of the day and like on her lunch break. She lives in this area of Richmond that has a lot of parks. So we'll just kind of bounce through all the parks really fast. And the whole time we're like talking and chit-chatting and stuff, and my pocket is just like a microwave. It's just vibrating and getting hot. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't enjoy anything. I can't enjoy anything. And then it'll get like a random text at like at midnight. And you're just like, no, hey, this got canceled and this got rescheduled. And you're just like, okay, I'll take this spreadsheet, man. Like, I don't care.
It's swearing at the phone time, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like you see the notification. Fuck you and your interview in 3 days.
Well, I was about to say, this is why I like talking to you, because you just hit me up directly and I don't have to deal and we can work with each other's schedules and kind of figure out a good time that works for both of us. And that's fine. Like, and this is also like a conversation more than it is like an interview. So
yeah.
So it's always nice. I would love every album cycle. The last interview I do would be Howard, and then I can just talk shit on everybody. And just really get it out and just really let all that rage out.
I know what you mean.
I think after today, because I've got nothing going on for the rest of the day today, but I think I have 2 more, and we're done this week, and I'm done. We're done.
I know. Well, I know who one of those is. I know who one of those people you're speaking to is. Yeah.
Who?
I think it's Paul.
Give me.
Paul Hutchings.
Tell me everything.
Paul Hutchings.
Oh,
he's
that
Welsh.
rat bastard. No.
Oh, brilliant.
No.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
It'll
be good. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, it's just kind of like the hard part now is it's like postpartum. Like the album's done, the album's out. It's technically no longer mine, and it's like open to the public.
Yeah.
And now everyone's making their own interpretations and opinions on it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of not a lot left to do. So I've been like going, and providing and talking for so long that like when like the noise stops, it's kind of like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
And the answer is fucking work. Yeah. I got shit to do. I gotta make money. Man. Like,
yeah,
I've been doing all these interviews like in my car, like at someone's house, like because they're like right in the middle of the day, and yeah, just like, well, if I don't have to do that, then I can actually get jobs and get shit done and hopefully make rent, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a juggle like that for like a few years until you get like, up
probably
and running.
For the rest of my life.
Well, I didn't want to say that, but you've gone there.
Yeah. I'm seeing a pattern, and and if I can get used to the pattern, I think I'll be okay. Like, if I can accept that as like my day-to-day, level of things to do, all right, that's fine. Like, I'll get there where I'm comfortable to it. But as of right now, I'm like, I'm fried. I'm fried, dude. I'm so fried. It's a good challenge.
If 8 months of Keiko means that you can then get 4 months of rocking on the road in each year, then that works.
Yeah. And if I can do 4 months of rocking on the road, and I think hopefully rocking on the road pays more, I can actually take a vacation.
Yeah.
And because as of right now, I'm working like almost every day and have been since January. So it's like, I think I've taken like maybe 7 days off. So that on top of like doing all the promotional interviews and making music videos and shit like that, like Keiko ain't got no time like to grow and prosper. So we'll but also at the same time, fuck it, we'll see. And that's kind of my mentality about everything, though. It's like, yeah, fuck it.
But you know what? If you put the work in, which you are, you've had 7 days off since January. If you put the work into both, they're both going to grow. They're both going to get stronger. They're both going to be able,
yeah.
And once that's the case, as we both know, on both levels, you can start dictating your own terms a bit more. At the moment, the label says you do this then, and you go, fucking no problem, whatever, whatever you tell us we do. Then there comes a point where you go, actually.
Yeah, I don't have to do that. Yeah, I can start dictating my life work balance, but like it's like having 2 full-time jobs pretty much. Like the band is like the band's my baby, so like that always comes first. Me comes second, and then everything else is third. But yeah, it's just trying to this is all new to me, and this is all fresh and a serious challenge. So yeah, I'm just kind of I'm running with it and seeing where it goes. But I think I'm doing okay.
Well, that level of dedication,
yeah,
that level of dedication that you're putting in means that you get what it's the old age adage, isn't it? You get out of it what you put into it, and what you're putting into it is your heart and soul.
Oh, for sure. And then and then also trying to pursue hobbies, like things that are just for me. I've had 0 time for it, man. I've gotten way hard. Like right when I got back from tour, I got so hard back into painting Warhammer minis. So
Right.
hard.
Really?
And I've, oh my God, dude, it's the sickest. It's so fun. I hate the, fuck the game. I hate the game, but painting those stupid little rats that are this big is so cathartic and fun. And there's like a zen to it that I can't like fully describe, but I get so much out of that. And I haven't had, you know, the 2 to 3 hours to really get into it like every day. So
Yeah.
it's just like, oh my God, like I have a modeling desk next to my computer desk, and I just keep passing it, being like, not today, I can't do it today. Like, but it's been like months. I'm just like, I should probably turn that lamp off. It's been on for 3 months.
The visual clue. That's your visual clue. And that's you kind of like,
Yeah.
I've got to leave that light on because that light on means I'm coming back.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's not dead.
Yeah.
And it also makes a great nightlight. It's perfect. Um so yeah, that I guess that is a visual clue. That's how wise of you, Howard. Oh my goodness.
It's one of those things, man, because I have ADHD. There's my fucking place is full of visual clues. Do you know what I mean? Like, get up.
Yeah. Get
Know,
up.
it's like it's like people say, "Oh, what's that lying there for?" Well, you see, that's lying there because if
Yeah.
that doesn't stay there, then what it's meant for doesn't get done because I'll forget.
Yeah.
Because there's other shit to do.
It's like a pathway of
Yeah.
like visual cues for you to be like, oh, this is what has to happen. Damn, I
Right.
might be ADHD.
Hey,
That makes so much sense.
doesn't it?
Like, yeah. But I'm also like super scatterbrained, but I also have like hard
Crazy
long
focus.
term. I have like hard like long term memory.
Right. Yeah.
So
Me too.
like if someone's like if I put a car key in a drawer and it never leaves the drawer and I don't think about it for 10 years,
You can
and
go
someone's
straight back
like,
to it.
hey, dude, where's the car key? And I won't even look up. It's like it's in that drawer. Like I just know, like just stupid small things that have no significance. There's so much of it up here.
So if somebody introduces themselves and they tell you their name, what percentage is it that you're going to remember their name? How yeah, that's the one.
But I will definitely remember their face.
Yeah, absolutely.
1,000%.
Oh,
I remember
absolutely.
every single person I've ever met. Can't tell you their name. And Hank, I would like to say that you're one of them.
Yeah.
You know,
Thanks, Joe.
I'm, I'm fucking around. That's so funny. But yeah, I remember everyone's faces, but I'm terrible with names. Terrible with names.
And you know what?
Like
But it is a
even when
thing.
I was dating, yeah, even when I started dating my girlfriend, I would call her the wrong name, and she was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, "It slipped my mind. Sorry." Like,
Yeah.
and I got it now. I know it now. Enough repetition of saying it, I've gotten it.
The repetition, and also I try and like create a mental image of their name to make it easier to remember. Like try and attach it to
Ooh.
something that I know. Therefore, it's like when I see I can recall it. I can't recall a name because a name's nothing. A name is just like it's just a fucking name. But
Yeah, it's
if I
just
can
names.
attach the name to something, which ironically is not usually the person's face, no, that would make
Yeah,
sense. That way I wouldn't need to remember their name because I already
yeah.
know.
I've well, maybe it's just because I'm smitten with this woman, but I've started to notice features that she has in other people, like her eyes. Her eyes are and eyebrows are fucking gorgeous. But if like I'm watching a movie and I see stuff like similar eyes or similar eyebrows or nose or stuff, it's like that looks like her. And then it's like once I start seeing everything, um, that reminds me of her, I'm just like, dude, you're just constantly in my fucking head. and it and it it comes off as romantic, but it might be mental illness, which
I
might
think
be one and the same.
I think mental illness is a bit strong, but yeah, I actually, yeah, love. They do say it's, that it is a kind of mental illness.
Changes your yeah, it changes your brain chemistry. Like I've
Yeah,
since I haven't been in love for, you know, what's it what oh god, how long is that? Too long. Let's say 15 years. Um, it's kind of, you don't even remember it. You don't have no idea what it feels like and like what your body goes through. And then having it again and being like super picky, or not picky, but like noticing changes and being like, oh, I feel this way now. That's strange. I haven't felt that way ever. Like, where'd that come from? It's like her. It's like, ah, okay. It's like very like Data from Star Trek. It's like Spock. It's like, you're feeling this way because of this. And you're just like, oh, cool, 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 cool.
yeah. It's well, like you say, it's old emotional muscle memory that's waking up.
Yeah, and it's awesome. Like, but like we keep talking about challenges. That's also a huge challenge of like, well,
Yeah,
I feel completely different than I did, 2 years ago. Simply on that like emotional spectrum. It's something that I've totally ignored for
yeah,
for a long time. And so it's a challenge for me to feel comfortable with it. It's a challenge for me and her to accept that both of us feel uncomfortable about it while we're trying to be comfortable with one another. And just like this snowball of, you know, cause and effect and emotions and wanting to be there for each other is just, that's all new and different. It's very cool. Love it. I love it.
That is awesome, man. It really is. And yeah, I'm pleased for you. I'm pleased for you. It sounds like since the last time we spoke, everything
Thank
has
you.
changed a lot. But you're really, it's like you're entering a really important phase of your life where things are like proper grown-up adult stuff is actually coming together, like
Yeah.
being self-employed and being in a genuine relationship, and the band's
Hmm.
not a plaything, it's a fucking beast that
Oh,
people know all about.
it's a juggernaut.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what is it? My mother came to our listening party and beer release, and she's like, I've never been to one of these things before, and I was like, yeah, me neither. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't know what I'm doing. She's like, well, what are you gonna do? I was like, I don't know. I guess just talk to people. She was like, okay, well, and there was like a couple hundred people there. I mean, it was packed.
Wow.
Um, and so she was like, well, I guess I'll just sit here. I was like, no, I'll just hang out with you. Like, I'll hang out with you. And then my girlfriend came and we all hung out and stuff. And then my mom was like, all right, well, this is weird for me. So I'm going to go home. And you're just like, what are you talking about? Like, this is totally normal. Like, listening to, like, because we had a DJ blasting the record and then he would, go through a couple different albums and, like, consistently, like, DJ old like Sodom and Razor and Sepultura and Iron Age and all these fucking killer bands. And so it's just like being at a venue pretty much, like in between bands, but there was no bands that were playing. That's the best way I could describe it.
Yeah.
Um, and she was like, well, this is awkward. I'm gonna go. I was like, this is literally what I do. This is it. If I'm not on the stage, this is kind of like, this is my safe space. It's just like a shitty bar. Like, everyone's drinking beer and listening to metal. That's what I do for a living. So she was like, well, I mean, it that's insane to me, but uh, I can see just from the amount of people here that, you know, this is, you're in your element, and people like your element, if so
Yeah.
to speak, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense. And so, yeah, I mean, people dug the beer, they dug the new album, people bought some merch, and she was just kind of like, okay, you're on your own. Like, I mean, I haven't needed, I haven't needed my mother for a while, but like, she's like, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Like you're prospering, like you're
Yeah.
growing, which I think is important.
And that's really cool as well, because there must be some pride, and she'd probably admit a little bit of relief mixed in with that pride as well. That
Yeah. Oh no, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I gave her a hoodie, and she wears that hoodie to work, and she's just like, "This is my son's band." And it's like this obnoxious, like urban snow camo with the with the enforced logo on it, and she just is like, "I don't give a shit. Like, y'all can say whatever you want, but this is my baby's band." Like, and he is the rock star. And you're just like, okay, don't take it too far. But she, like, all right, mom. Oh man, yeah, very very cool. And my dad is like the exact same way. He's read all the reviews that like and interviews and stuff that go online, and he's just like, this is insane. And you're just like, that's how it was last time. You didn't give a shit.
It's brilliant though.
You didn't care.
It's brilliant though that your parents get to see this happening, because I've been through that, and I've seen like parents go like they're like, oh my God, they can't believe what's happening to their child. Do you know what I mean? And it's and without doubt there's huge pride there, and there should be. But also, like you say, masses of relief, because ultimately you're their kid, they care for you, and they none of them want to see dreams get stomped on.
Yeah, and well, I mean, the fact that I think they understand now that like the fact that he had, man, I might cry. Oh my God, I just felt it. The fact that I just felt that tinge. Now the fact that I mean, this applies to me and my brother. The fact that we both had dreams and we were able to, or are able to accomplish them, and to live in our Jungian dream space, like we're living our dream life, is something that I think every parent would want for their kid. But to see it from both kids, like, we by all measures should be fuck ups, but we're not, because we just have this weird drive to like fight for and work for what we want, regardless of what that could be. I mean, if my love in life was meth, I would do all the meth.
You'd be on your second meth album.
I would make as much meth as possible. I'd be the best meth maker in the world.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's writing really obscure music, or really straightforward music with very obscure lyrics.
But you know what? That level of focus, basically what they say is, we were talking about ADHD earlier. We say is like, basically, if you're a performer, you are quite high up some spectrum or other, because to most people, the last place anybody wants to be is the focus of attention. On stage, everybody wants to be on the floor watching the band, and it's a very, very small percentage of people that figure that whose brains work the other way,
want to do it,
and they want to do it, but they also have this crazy focus and work ethic that means they do it, and that is that.
See, like, that's the only thing that I like. Maybe I'm not, it's because I'm terrified. Every time right before I get on stage, I'm like a huge ball of nerves, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. Oh, this is gonna suck. I hope I can do it. But the minute we start, it's over and out the window.
But also, hey, check out, look out! I'm about to drop a name.
Oh no!
I was literally a couple of hours ago. I was talking to Jason Newsted.
You dropped it.
Clang. And but we were saying the same thing about that, the level of focus and everything that is needed to be like in a band, make it work, and that
right.
kind of, but also how to process adrenaline, because he was saying that it took him many years to learn how to process it, and people make the mistake of thinking that adrenaline kicks in when you're performing, or it kicks in afterwards, or it takes labor. No, it kicks in before, and some people experience what could be described as stage fright and things like that. People can experience,
it's just adrenaline.
That's all it is. That stomach churning and all the rest of it. That's not, oh shit, I can't do it. That's your body going, we need a fucking shit ton of energy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes more sense, because I know when you and I were hanging out at the Underground, I was talking about how fuck nervous I was for Hellfest, and like they'd be like 5 minutes, I'd be like, oh no, and like go outside, and like I wouldn't puke, but I would be like heaving. They're like, okay, I'm good, I'm good. And then they're like, 2 minutes. I'm like, oh no. They go back again. It's like 30 seconds. I'm like, I want to heave, but I gotta be right here. And then it's just like, go. You're just like, and then get on there, and then we just killed it. So it's just like, maybe the adrenaline for me is like killing my stomach.
Yeah, you're literally like, you're just like, you're fucking, your senses are all on fire. It's like the worst is the opposite. It's like, you know, lounging around and like being completely relaxed, because that makes everybody else fucking nervous, because they're like, what's wrong with that guy?
Yeah, it doesn't help. It doesn't help. It just doesn't help anybody's like mindset, especially in the band. You know, if everyone's you know, side stage, like in Hellfest, like side stage ready to go, and you're freaking out, that doesn't help anything. It doesn't help anything. Like that's kind of like there's something to keeping your pain private, I think. Like, just don't show it and bottle it up. And especially for like our cases, like if we're about to play a metal show or whatever, like, yes, do by all means bottle it up so you can explode on stage and get it all out and be good with it, like, and feel better and be happy, I guess, in a sense. But yeah, there might be something to that. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. There's got to be some science to it.
Well, there has to be, but I genuinely think there's a lot of stage fright is mistaken. Is like it's just adrenaline. It's just a huge adrenaline surge. I learned, you know, doing comedy, it's changed over the years, but it used to affect me where I'd get to the venue, and as soon as I get to the venue, I'd get a shot of adrenaline, like, oh right, it's actually fucking happening. And then I'd go to the top, and then
that's like the first fun shot.
Like,
we're here. This place smells like piss. Like, yes, like,
that would trigger me to go and find the toilet in the place and have a massive shit.
Yes, I understand. Where you're coming from. Not for me, but no, I'm kidding. I take probably like a mad amount of like adrenaline dumps. Like it just happens. You just can't help it. But go on. Sorry, I interrupted. So you're going to comedy clubs and you're shitting all over comedy clubs.
It's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But also, like, there's that whole caged tiger thing about before you go on. And it is, you totally get it. 2 words, cage tiger. That's the fucking problem. I'm being hemmed in and I need to go, you know. That's another that's another thing that fucks with you, like adrenaline.
Unleash the beast.
Yes.
Totally.
Well, that's a different kind of beast altogether.
Oh, okay. Okay. Unzip the beast. That's fucked up. All right, I take that back. I'm sorry.
Sorry, that's the one bit that somebody at the record label is going to play of this podcast. Go, Jesus, I don't know what the fuck was wrong with him that day.
Yeah, what happened? He was doing fine, and he started making dick jokes.
Yeah. Keep him away from that guy that
Yeah.
caused the problem in the last press run. What you did with them.
Yeah. No, you didn't make any. You didn't cause no waves. You weren't making problems.
No. It's just that we chatted away so long that you missed 2 other interviews.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
And you know what? One of those interviews is my friend Paul, who you're going to speak to tomorrow.
You want to just keep this interview going till tomorrow? We can just
lights on.
We can just do it. We can just do them again.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be brilliant.
Yeah. I think his email might be in the spreadsheet. I'll go ahead and email him. It's like, hey, I'm talking to Howard like 20 minutes before I'm talking to you. Like, but we'll keep it brief.
He's already messaged me because I put this up in Patreon. I put that we were catching up again.
Oh, okay.
And his only question was, "Are you speaking to him on Tuesday?" And I was like,
yeah.
And he was like, I said no, and he's like, well, right, well, my interview
Paul.
might go ahead then.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. But no, it is weird the whole live thing. But you were talking about Hellfest there. Seeing some of the footage, man, that was furious.
I wish we could get the live stage like footage. It's not out. Like the only thing that's out I can find is like people just, in the crowd recording it.
Right. So there
was like
official
dudes
footage
around us. Like there is official footage. I know that they were like, well, if you want to have the official footage, it's going to be like $300. I'm just like, no, like, and our thought was like, well, it'll come out eventually.
Yeah.
The answer is no. The answer is no, it ain't, because you didn't pay the $300.
Oh,
but you'd think that they would like put it on their channel. You think they would put it on their channel or something, years after the fact.
Well, that's the way it works.
No, they won't.
That's the way it works with Bloodstock. I mean, our show from 20.
Yeah, I've watched tons of Bloodstock.
Yeah, and it's all up there. Yeah,
great. That's how it should be.
Oh yeah,
I don't know why.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're gonna keep it behind like a $300 paywall because I like you were already there. You brought all your stuff. I didn't ask you to film me, but there you are with like a huge camcorder and like 17 cables dragging behind you, like in my fucking face. So that's kind of on you. Why do I have to pay you to do that? Like I didn't ask you to do it. Just give me the fucking footage, or at least just release it. Just put it on YouTube. Like I don't personally want it. I just want to see it.
Yeah.
So it's just another thumb in the eye of like, like another thing I could show my parents and be like, look, check this shit out. But we were smart enough to do a GoPro cam, like drum cam.
Yeah.
For Hellfest. So the only way I can watch it now is to go on our YouTube channel and watch our GoPro camera of Alex playing. And you can kind of see in the corner the crowd and me, freaking out and stuff. But like it is nice to see and kind of look back and reminisce about like something so insane that I thought I would never do. Like, and by all means should probably never have done. But it's so incredible. Yeah.
Well, I honestly, I know it sounds like hassle, but it's really worth sticking 2 or 3 phones or GoPros up on stage, like 3.
Yeah.
You can cover the whole show. That's
how we filmed the Hang By My Hand music video.
Right.
We had camcorder footage from Europe and from At the Gates and from the 200 Stab Wounds tour, but it wasn't much. Like there wasn't enough like amount of like good shots to compile into like how long is that song? Like 3.5 minutes. So we were like, our bassist Ethan, he makes all those like live music videos. So he was like, I don't know how it's possible to say this, but there's not enough. after like almost a whole year of of footage, there's not
Yeah.
enough. Like it needs to be crazier. So we're like, well, we are playing this other local band, Blazing Tomb, who's like, I wouldn't call them bolt thrower worship, but they're definitely bolt thrower influenced hard, and they fucking rule. And they had their LP release, and we were playing it, and we are like, well, we could turn that into like a music video shoot because we need more footage. So we basically did the show and then passed out camcorders to a couple friends and was like, go wherever you want, get in the pit, doesn't matter. Like just get in the shit and get and make this look insane.
Yeah.
And they said, okay. So there was one shot, I don't think it made it into the video where the camcorder literally just gets punched. Which it should have made it in there. But like the dude was like holding it and he got punched in the he got punched in the face, which hit the camcorder back in his eye.
Yeah, ow.
Oh god, yeah. I think that was the last we saw him. Lost
Man
a friend
down.
that day. But yeah, for sure. But yeah, and then from that video, or from all that footage, we were able to like cobble up the rest for the rest of the music video. But like having that live energy and having that those recordings or like videos of it, I think it's really important to like document, like show where you're at.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It kind of gives it's kind of like a bookmark because like we did the same thing with Malignance, and the Malignance video is sick, but you can tell from the scope and scale between Malignance and Hang by My Hand, like the shows have gotten a lot bigger, like a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of track the live progress through the music videos. So I think that's kind of cool that you can go back and be like, oh yeah, I remember playing that small venue. And like it gives you these like visual cues of where you were at that time in your life.
Back to those visual clues again, and those visual cues. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's important to have those as well. Because the thing is, when you are in a different town every day and everything is
you don't remember.
No, and everything's blurring into one. It's important that you do get time to go like, right, okay, yeah, no, I did actually do that. Yeah,
the Boise, Idaho filing cabinet is very small. It's a very small file. but like if I were to see footage of it, I'd be like, oh, that's Boise. Yeah, I remember that. Oh, that was a great show. Like it just it unlocks the drawers for you.
Oh, but when you have members of the band come up to you and you've got members of your own band coming up to you going, dude, did we play that show there then? Were we on that bill? Because some guy's saying he saw us, but I don't think we played there. And you're like, yeah, remember it's where this and that. Oh, shit, yeah. Because this guy's saying we did, and I'm fucking sure we didn't. And you're like, you've got to go and apologize. You're going to have to apologize to that dude. Yes, we did play that. Did we?
I don't know. Like, maybe. It's funny. I've been starting to read a lot of the album reviews, and you know that everyone kind of like does it in chronology of like, well, this is what they've done, and here's what they're doing now. Someone said that we toured with Morbid Angel, and I screen capped it and sent it to the band. I was like, you guys remember that awesome Morbid Angel tour that we did? And they're like, oh yeah, dude, great times. We've never toured with fucking Morbid Angel. I don't know where that came from. I was just like, what flyer did you see? It said Morbid Angel Enforced like 30 times. Like it's never happened.
Yeah.
It's you made that up. Like that's so weird. Yeah. I mean, I want to tour with Morbid Angel. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, I want to tour with Morbid Angel, but we just haven't done it. So it's just like, where did that come from?
You're absolutely right. It's the flip side of that band member thing. Is when people are like, "Oh, and the time you played so," you're like, "No, we didn't." Yeah, no, you did. I never did that. You played with you, and you were with them. Yeah. I was like, no, we weren't.
People get the last Power Trip show confused because everyone thinks that we played that. We didn't play it, but we were there. Because Will was in another band, Red Death, that played. So we were there, chatting about with everybody. So I think everyone in the zeitgeist assumed that we had played, but no one remembers the set. It's
Right.
just like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's because we never played, we never got on stage, but we were there.
I didn't realize that you well, I don't know if you were close to those guys, but I didn't realize that you moved in the same circles.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Red Death and Power Trip went on tour all throughout the US and Canada, I think in 2018, 2018, 2019. Yeah, with this power pop band Sheer Mag, Red Death, Power Trip, and who else was it? I think it was this band Fury, this hardcore band Fury. They all went on like a big like month and a half long tour. So I mean, if anyone's a friend of the band, it's Will. But uh, I've only met all those guys just in passing, and
Right.
just we're casual acquaintances. They came to our show in Dallas that we played during the 200 Stab Wounds tour, and we kicked it. It was cool. But yeah, like other than that, like I don't have like an actual like friendship,
Yeah. Yeah,
with
yeah,
them.
yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. You just kind of move in the same circles, etc. Um,
Yeah, oh for sure. I mean, they Power Trip has started as a hardcore band. Like
yeah,
went to every single time they fucking came through Richmond. It's like I would equate it to like every time we played Toronto in Canada. Like first time we played, maybe 50 people. Second time we played, 150 people. Third time we played, 500 people. Like every time they came through Richmond, it just got more and more absurd and huge to the point where like they're on their Nightmare Logic tour. It's like, well, they can't even play that venue that they always play anymore. It's too small. we gotta go to the we gotta go to the big one now. And you're just like, man, they're really making it. Uh, which is like super inspiring, especially
yeah,
like I because it comes up in conversation all the time. Especially in like interviews and stuff. They're like, oh, like so you're like heavily influenced by Power Trip, and you're just like, no, like I'm heavily I'm heavily inspired by Power Trip. Like
mm,
those are just fucking Texas hardcore dudes that found something that they liked and that worked and catapulted them to like the highest highs at the time of like any hardcore band or like crossover band could like no one planned for that. That wasn't
no,
planned.
no.
It's
Yeah,
it's just natural. Like
yeah,
and so it's just like yeah, seeing them from like play in front of 50 people to see them play in front of 750 like in like a 3 or 4 year time span is phenomenal. So it's like I want to do that too. Like
yeah.
I like that's inspiring. I want to, and I think I hope that a lot of bands started just from seeing like what Power Trip was able to do, and like even for Turnstile is another perfect example.
Yeah.
Like just they're just a bunch of dudes from Baltimore, like for real. They're just a bunch of inner city Baltimore dudes. Never any intention of being is huge and like Grammy nominated.
Yeah.
That wasn't in the cards.
Do you know what? Turnstile, the Deftones of hardcore. That's
In what sense?
in the
Like, what
sense
do you
that
mean?
they carry that melody and that they can travel outside of
Oh
the
yeah.
genre.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That they can
What?
bring
I was like, I don't think Brandon's a chino, but all right, cool.
no, but they can bring those like almost those melodic elements, and they can bring them
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah,
into the genre. I love that. I love that.
yeah.
But yeah, you're right, and look, it comes back to the old: if you can see it, you can be it. And believe it or not, I might be about to make you feel
That's
uncomfortable, but there are people
uh
who are going to see Enforced, who've seen Enforced, who've gone, this is what I need to do, and I need, and
I
it
would
gives them a
like
kick up the ass, or it makes them go to their friends, guys, we can do this.
I would like I would like to think so, but at the same time, I'm not gonna bet money on it.
Mm.
Um, but maybe that's a possibility. I'm not, I'm not in everyone's heads, and I don't know what everyone's thinking. But at the same
Yeah.
time, like I have been like we have played shows where there's like 13-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 17-year-olds, and
Yeah.
they're just like
And
gobsmacked. And you're just like,
those
yeah,
kids will be like, that was my, I still remember my first ever thrash show, Enforced, been addicted
yeah.
ever since.
And
And
yeah, and they're gonna start their own band, and they're gonna smoke me off the stage, and that's just the way it goes. That's the way it goes.
you're
But
right.
they're
You're
inspired by
right.
you, and they think you're God, but they're doing way better than you. And great.
Yeah. Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
but it is interesting to kind of like see like younger generations and younger kids kind of perceive you in that way. It's something that's new to me, and like no one's ever looked up to me. I'm the like as like a source of inspiration. You're just like, what? Like,
Yeah.
no, 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 that's gross. That's gross. Ew, ew.
Yeah.
But like,
Totally get it.
if I like at that beer release listening party, there was like a 7-year-old with her parents, and they had obviously bought a shirt, but cut it and re-sewed it so it would fit like a little 7-year-old.
Yeah.
And she came with like crazy corpse paint and everything, and had like all these like body paint streaks of like camo and stuff.
Wow.
She was the coolest person in the room, but she could not look us in the eye, which was like, why? Like, you're the coolest person here. Like,
Yeah.
you've surpassed me. Like, and so I was like, wow, that's so cool that there's like a 7-year-old mega fan.
Yeah.
Wild. That's another bucket list done.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
like that meant like the listening, like hearing the new album. She bought the new album. Like we all signed it for her, and she was just like, she thought she was looking at Lemmy, and it was just like, I'm not Lemmy. Like, it's not like that. uh, but I hope that spark of like inspiration is like got the gears turning for her, and
Yeah.
she can find some way to do something creative. I mean, it doesn't have to be metal. It just anything. Just be a creative person.
Well,
Um,
I think I heard somebody recently, it was a boxer, a former boxer, and he said that the greatest gift that any parent can give their child is letting them chase their dreams.
mm,
And he said, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying achieve the dream either, but to chase the dream, that
yeah,
is the goal. Because even if you don't make it, you tried.
yeah. It's like a dog chasing a car. Like, the dog. Once the dog gets, if the dog ever got the car, what would the dog do? It doesn't matter. Like the chase
Yeah.
is the chase is the dream. Like,
Yeah.
if you got the dream, it would go away. You would wake up, metaphorically speaking.
What's that old famous phrase, paradise is actually the journey, not the destination.
Yeah, yeah,
You know.
I would agree with that completely. Because like, I mean, even with us, like it seems like I've arrived, but like no, I got to do this. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like now that
Yeah.
all these goals have now that all these goals have been achieved, like you have to have new goals. You
Yeah.
can't just stop. If you stop, you stagnate and die. So it's like, well, now I need to do something else. I need to do something more. Like, I mean, shit, we haven't toured South America. We haven't toured Latin America. We haven't toured Australia. We haven't toured Japan. Like, we need to do a proper US. We need to do a proper UK. Like, we've toured the US 7 billion times, it seems. Like, it's time to go other places. Like,
Yeah.
and I think that there's enough appeal, and there's enough fans to like make that dream a reality. And then hypothetically, if that challenge is met, then I have to make new goals because I've already done them.
That's the rules.
Yeah, Mars is next.
Yeah.
First,
this is
I'll beat Metallica to the moon. You can promise
we've
me.
got we've finally gone a bit Spinal Tap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, when they find
I'll beat Metallica to the moon, and that's a promise. But other than that,
that's the headline that Blabbermouth clipping out of the interview.
I was about to say it's the perfect headline for anyone listening. Just be like, I'll beat Metallica to the moon.
Yeah.
Sure, dude. Who cares?
Oh, that's brilliant.
I ran out of goals. I ran out of goals, so I planted an enforced flag on the moon. Because why not?
We ran out of countries to conquer, so we've moved on to planets and moons. Stars and other satellites will follow.
Yeah. We'll get on that Amazon rocket that's shaped like a dick and just fly up to the moon to play a set.
Yeah, Enforced, playing on Mars, June 2025, sponsored by Elon Musk.
Yeah, but you won't hear any vocals because I'll have the helmet. And I'll just go
steamed up to fuck. It's not even. There'll be people on the internet going, "It's not even him. It's not even him." If you look between the,
I'll be like, I'll be trying to move around, and I'll jump, and I won't really land, and I'll just kind of be like,
dude, dear.
Honestly, that's a great music video idea. Let's do that.
Let's do a video on Mars. That'll be cheap.
On the moon, let's go.
Yeah.
Or just fake it. I don't know how you could fake it, but just...
How could you possibly fake a moon landing?
I have no idea.
None whatsoever.
It's never been done. Nope. You could be the first to fake it.
Absolutely, unless we fall off the edge of the flat planet first.
No, that can't happen. We can't go to the ice cliff.
That's it.
No, God forbid.
Yeah. Oh man, look, this has been a blast. It really has, as always. We should do this more often.
Totally.
Knox, thanks so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, dude.
The pleasure's all mine, buddy. I love talking to you.
Oh, mate, it's mutual. It really is. It's always an event when we get a chance to catch up.
Yeah. We've created a rapport.
We have indeed. I think we've established that rapport nicely.
Yeah.
But look after yourself. And give your lady my best. I'm so pleased for you both. I really am. That's wonderful. You've got to have something. So you've got to have something. Something for you that nourishes you inside to come home to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we talked before. I know this always happens when we wrap up, and then it just kind of keeps going. But it's nice because, and this is kind of a bummer. I hate to leave it on a bad note, but we've talked about my dog Duke.
Yeah.
Very old dog.
Oh no.
He's a tripod. He's 16 now, and he's alive. He's not dead. He's doing fine. He eats, but he is declining quickly. So it's just kind of well, he's my boy. He's my dude. He's my backbone. But having a partner to also be your backbone is just okay, that feels better. I'm glad that I can not necessarily share in the misery, but okay, I can make it through this because of you. So
yes,
I'm good.
Yeah. No, I absolutely get that as well. Pets are family members. We all know that. And it is you're losing if and when you lose him, it will be it'll be horrific. But now you've got that. But I can deal.
Yeah, no, totally. And I agree and feel the same way. So it's just kind of okay, like this is another thing it's going to happen. Like I have to accept it, and especially with going on the going back to the band that we barely talked about. um,
Are you in a band?
Who? Me? But yeah, going back to the album of like the idea of like life and death and suffering and loss and hope and like it's all it you can be comfortable with it. Like, and I'm very after the pandemic and uh I seeing my dog decline and stuff. I'm like I'm more just by exposure. I'm more comfortable with death, and like I have a a pretty decent relationship with it. So it's it's not the worst thing in the world, you know. It's not being now. If my dog was being hung, drawn, and quartered, that's different. That's torturing an animal. That's different.
Yeah.
But if he's just living a happy life and he just doesn't wake up one day, that's different.
He's just seeing out his days. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I can accept that.
Yeah. I get it, man. I get it. Well, look, dude. That was an uplifting ending, wasn't it? Fucking crying here.
Oh, that's the most Knox Colby thing I could ever do is just leave it on the worst note ever.
No, not at all, mate. Not
yeah,
at all.
Yeah,
mate.
it's so fucking. It's so funny. It's already funny to me.
Brilliant.
Oh, so bad.
Well, look, dude, always a pleasure, never a chore, and I look forward to seeing you in the sunny UK sometime soon.
We'll be there. Don't worry about it, man.
All right. Take care, dude.
Cheers.
And with that, the brothers from another mother went their own ways. Really just love chatting with Knox. We just get along, man. It's and I know I always say it, and singers are the best interviews. Well, not always, but Knox and I just seem to have, we just click, just absolutely click. And I hope you enjoyed listening to that. Now, the point of this interview, really, just even having him on the show means, oh, right, I know the new album's out. Okay, War Remains, cracker, give it a listen. And as we were joking about towards the end there, it's like we both felt like we hadn't actually spoken much about the band or the or the album or anything, but we kind of just wormhole off on the fact that we haven't had a catch up, we haven't had a chance to sort of speak. So you're kind of hearing that now. If that is a frustration for you, please, this is not the podcast where you're going to get what's that song about? What's this song about? Why did you use that producer? Why did you use that studio? I mean, look, I know I'm probably being a bit patronizing right now if you're a regular listener, but if not, this is not that kind of podcast. I want you to hear an interview with somebody who is doing loads of interviews at the moment, but the interview you hear here will be different to the one you hear elsewhere. That's always what I've tried to do, rather than just get stuck in those questions when somebody's got a new album out. I don't know why I felt the need to say all this, because I'm sure the large proportion of you listening already knew that. But hey, if you didn't, that's what this place is all about. Trying to just have a chat and a long form conversation rather than a prescriptive, question by question interview. Not slagging those off. There's plenty of them out there though. So that's why I want to do something different here. Hey, you know that. And you know what? The way you can even hear even more of that, if you like it, because there's a video of this interview, but you can't watch it unless you're a Patreon. You can't be a Patreon, but you can be a patron. If you sign up at patreon.com/Howard H. Smith, you can sign up there for as little as $6 a month, and you get shed loads of content. You get tons of behind-the-scenes Acid Rain stuff. You get tons of behind-the-scenes podcast stuff. You get videos that never appear here. You will get honest, total, amazing exclusives. I say amazing. Honest, this is what my patrons tell me. They tell me that compared to all of the other people I'm signed up to, I get way more from you than anyone else. And that's because I like doing it and I like sharing the stuff that I can't necessarily make public. So if you'd like to sign up, please do. There's a link in the podcast. Can't believe it's taken me till now to mention it, but there you go. Worst place possible to mention it on the podcast, because most people have stopped listening by now, but I'm not going to say, oh, you're my favourite people for listening, because I know a certain podcast who does that, and it always winds me up. Don't know why, because I'm a bit weird, I guess. But thank you for listening all the way to the end. I've just done it anyway, haven't I? But I guess there's a reason people do that, and that's because not many people listen to this bit. And not many people listen to this bit because it's like this. So why would you listen to this? All I've done is basically said, that was the interview, sign up at Patreon and give me some fucking money. Well, yeah, actually, that seems like a really good place to leave it, because that's exactly what I'm saying. Sign up at Patreon, give me some of your fucking money. Help the show continue and get better. All right? Lots of stuff lined up for you, including an inside feature on the music business with several people from behind the scenes talking about basically where the business is at now and where they've seen it go through from their time in the industry. Which promises to be a really cool little feature. Well, I say little, it's going to be a number of podcasts. Anyway, gone off totally on a tangent. That's for you, Tangent fans. Make sure you tune in next week, you bunch of lovely bastards.